Most Shopify brands that are trying to grow past 50, 100, 150K a month don't have a traffic problem. They have a revenue leak problem. And the crazy part is, most of them don't even know it's happening. I'm Brian Bowman, and I run a company called FoundRev. We help Shopify brands scale on a performance basis, which means we don't make money unless we grow your store's revenue. So I'm very incentivized to find every single dollar that's hiding in your business. And I can tell you, after auditing hundreds of Shopify stores, that the same 5 leaks show up in almost every single one. And I want to show you the 5 places your store is losing money right now and exactly how to fix them. And I'm not talking about run more ads or creative diversification for Andromeda. I'm talking about revenue that is coming into your business right now, but is simply falling through the cracks because you don't know how to capture it. So here's what happens with most brands when revenue flattens out or they just get stuck and they hit a plateau and they can't break past it. They will go out, hire an agency, and usually it'll be someone to drive traffic because they think that's the problem. And the agency will say, we need to scale meta, we need to test more ads, more audiences, more diversification. And that's not wrong necessarily. We use meta as part of our program to scale our brands. But it's like turning up the water pressure on a hose that has 5 holes in it and water just sprays everywhere except where you want it. Think of your Shopify store as a hose. You have sessions coming in one end and dollars coming out the other. And every kink or hole along the way, from someone lands on site to someone pays you money, is a revenue leak. And what I found is stores doing over about 50K a month have plenty of water coming in. They have plenty of traffic. What they don't have is a hose that's effectively delivering water from one end to the other. And what I found is fixing those holes along the way does way more for revenue than doubling your ad spend, and it's way cheaper. What I'm gonna do is walk you through each section of that hose. And we're gonna walk from when someone lands on your site until they pay you. And I'm gonna show you where the 5 biggest revenue leaks are. And for each one, I'm gonna show you how to spot it and exactly what to do about it to fix it. So let's get started. Leak number 1 is your offer is invisible. And I'm not saying people can't find your product. I'm saying when they land on your site, they can't immediately understand who the product is for, what it is, and why they should buy it right now. Most of the stores I first audit or that I see have some tagline like elevate your routine on a hero image or live better. And that means literally nothing. That is not an offer, and it does not compel someone to explore your product and to buy today. An easy way to remember is an offer has 3 components. It has product, packaging, and priority. So the product can be a set of products that are part of an irresistible offer. But many times with our clients, we just grab their best selling SKU. In fact, we have a client right now. When they came to us, one product was responsible for 52% of their total sales. But to find it, you had to click through 3 different pages. So we made that the hero offer. We made that front and center on the homepage, and it was very clear who it was for, why they needed it, and why they needed it today. The packaging is how it's bundled. Do you have several tiers of the product, or is it only quantity of one? And is the mid tier priced correctly so that it looks like the best option and it's pre-selected? And then priority just comes down to urgency and incentive. So remember that with urgency, that's a time-based constraint. So they have only so much time to buy, whereas scarcity is a quantity-based constraint. So is there a limited amount? And you want to make sure people know that so they have a reason to buy today. An incentive is a reason to not just bookmark you and forget about you. So it has to be something that perhaps expires or there's only so many slots available. So again, it's a type of urgency, but it's a reason why they need to act today because it's a big incentive that they're going to get when they buy. So many stores, in fact, all stores have a product, but very, very few have an actual offer. So here's what I want you to do. Go on your phone, not on desktop, and go to your store. Within 3 seconds, is it immediately visible what your hero offer is? Is it obvious why someone needs to act today? Is it clear with a outcome-driven headline, not the product name, but the outcome that they're going to get from that? Is that clear and is that stated right away above the fold? Is there a call to action button that they don't have to scroll to click to get to the hero offer, to get to the product page? Is there clear social proof that shows them that it is very, very likely they are going to get the result? And is there some indication that it's going to happen very quickly for them? These are all the components of your offer, and it must be immediately visible above the fold and easily available for them to click and go to the detail page to get more information, add to cart, and buy. Leak number 2, you've got 3 money pages on your site. You've got the home page, the product detail page, and the cart page. And I can tell you that most sellers are way under optimizing those three pages. And those make up 80% or more of your revenue. People are buying because of those three pages, and sellers are just not spending enough time optimizing those. The biggest offender by far is the product detail page. Images are under optimized. You have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to find any social proof that gives you guarantee that this product will actually work for you. There's never bundling options. There aren't multiple tiered price points that leverage price decoy strategies with the mid-tier pre-selected as the most popular or the founder's choice, which is one of the easiest ways to add average order value to your store. And the landing page itself, the product description looks like it's built more for Amazon SEO than for conversions. And if you look at any top performing D2C brand, direct to consumer brand, you will see that it's built more like a landing page style. And this is the format that we use with all of our clients. And I can tell you it consistently raises conversion rates by 30, 40, 50%. And it's one of the easiest ways to plug up revenue leak in your store and put more money in your pocket. There's a lot of things to fix here, but I recommend you start with the easy ones. Make sure if you don't have bundling options, have them in there. Have quantity breaks. Have your price decoy with the mid-tier selected. Make sure your images are optimized and have a FAQ section. One thing you can do is you can add a post-purchase survey. I think this is one of the most under-leveraged tools in D2C brands under 100K a month. They're not using post-purchase surveys. These are a gold mine of information to let you know what you need to address before somebody converts. And you're going to do that in the landing page, in the FAQ page or section. And up at the top, above the fold, you want to grab a testimonial that overcomes the most common objection that people are saying is keeping them from buying when you look at the post-purchase survey. So there's so much you can do to optimize the product detail page, but make sure you hit all the low-hanging fruit and don't miss the obvious revenue leaks. There's always more you can optimize, but even getting the 20% that's responsible for the 80% of the result is going to have huge benefits for you. Leak number 3 is checkout friction. And we usually call this shipping shock because the number one objection at checkout is unforeseen shipping charges. And I mean, think about it. Someone adds a $40 product to cart, they get to checkout and there's $9 shipping. That is a 22% tax that they did not ask for. And there's a lot of different ways to fix this, and we have a few different strategies. But one of the easiest is just to bundle the price together. Just add it in. $40 product at $9 shipping. It's $49 with free shipping done. It sounds like it's the same thing, but it actually feels very different to the consumer. $40 plus $9 shipping feels like a ripoff and a bait and switch. $49 with free shipping feels like a deal. So it's important that you look at that checkout friction, and most of the time it's going to be shipping. So there's a few things you can do to fix at checkout. So there's the shipping issue. Make sure you take care of that. At checkout, make sure you have a logo on the top left. I see a lot of brands miss this. And you have to remember, this is the moment right before they hand you their credit card where they need to trust you the most. They've been experiencing your site a certain way. They've seen your logo. They've seen your branding and your colors. And then they get to a checkout page with text at the top left with your brand name. It feels off-brand already. And at like a lizard brain level, it just starts setting alarm bells off. So make sure that the experience is consistent all the way through from when they land on your site, and that the branding and the design is consistent. So one of the easiest things you can do is make sure you have a logo, and you'd be surprised how many brands still have the text at the top left. And any coloring that you can do, because you can switch some of the coloring to match the theme of your store, is effective at reducing checkout friction. Remove unnecessary fields that people don't need to fill out, especially like company. If you're not using that, remove it. Research shows that more fields increases the friction at checkout. Make sure you have the quick pay options, Shop Pay, all the express pay. And if you're going to use Afterpay, that can help a lot. We have several clients that absolutely does increase conversions. And make sure you handle the shipping issue, because that is usually one of the number one things that's going to keep someone from purchasing. Leak number 4, and I know that I was going to say this, is email. And I know you probably are thinking, yeah, okay, I know email, I have my flow set up, I'm good. But I'm going to tell you, if your email is not responsible for 30 to 40% of your revenue in your store each month, you are under optimized. This is one of the quickest, easiest wins we get for new clients. We go in, if we see that email is less than 30%, it's the first place we go. We optimize the flows, optimize the campaigns, and get an instant lift in revenue. I mean, we get an instant 20% bump in revenue. And with the other changes we make, all else stays the same. So if we have a $100,000 a month store and we get 20% more revenue, that's 20K a month extra in their pocket, $240,000 a year that was sitting on the table. We go at FoundRev, we find the revenue that's hiding in their business, take it off the table, and hand it to them. This is one of the biggest opportunities and biggest revenue leaks in Shopify brands, bar none. There are 6 email flows that every store has to have. First is the welcome series. This is the series of emails that people get when they sign up for your website pop-up. The second one is browse abandon. If they've ever signed up before, if you have their email, if you have their profile information, you can circle back through email if they browse a product and bounce. You have cart abandon and checkout abandon. These are not the same things. A lot of times these get confused. Checkout is what people usually call cart abandon. Checkout is someone gets to checkout and they abandon. They are right before the point of purchase. It is by far between that and welcome series. Those are the 2 highest revenue generating flows that you'll have. Cart abandon is what it sounds like. They add to cart, never make it to checkout, and leave. And again, just like browse abandon, if you have their profile info, you can circle back and bring them back to the cart to finish checkout. I find a lot of stores that don't have, when I audit stores before they become clients, I find that a lot of them don't have the cart abandon or browse abandon. And these are 2 huge money makers and big revenue leaks in your business if you don't have them. Post-purchase and then win back. Many brands do not have their win back in place. Win back it's a way to bring buyers back to the peak of the buying cycle. So if you think about the buying cycle as someone doesn't know who you are, then they start to learn, then interest starts to peak, they make a purchase, and then there's this period where they're a hot buyer that they're ready to buy again, and you need to engage with them. That's the point of the post-purchase survey or post-purchase email. But over time, if they don't buy, they start to wane, they forget about you, and this is why we send emails to be at the top of the inbox, top of mind. But it starts to wane off, and then they're gone forever. So the point of a win back is to really incentivize them to re-engage as a buyer, to bring them back up to the peak of that buying, desire, so that we can retain them there for longer and get them to keep buying again and again. So you must have those 6 flows. If you don't, there is money sitting there in plain sight. Again, FoundRev, we have to go in and find revenue. This is the first place that we go, and we optimize these. Either create them or optimize them right out of the gate. And focus on these first before you start focusing on your campaigns and promotions and doing what we call 4 and 7 day fast cash promotions. You want to focus on these first because these are going to print money for you. And if you have them, which a lot of people will say, well, I already have these, I have checkout. I'm going to challenge you to see if you've optimized them. If your checkout revenue per recipient is not between 5 and 10%, if it's less than 5 and 10% of your average order value, I guarantee you're leaving money on the table. And that is a massive revenue leak that you have in your business. And if you plug that up, you're going to seal up the hose, right? More sessions coming in, and you're going to have more money coming out the other end. Leak number 5, and this is the one that most people overlook. It's not having an active strategy for consistently increasing average order value over time. And the reason why this is so important is if you have a store that has a $50 average order value or AOV, and you can increase it to $65, you've made every single visitor on average 30% more valuable. And that goes straight to revenue. I mean, that is literally every visitor is worth 30% more. In fact, we have a client right now, and this is the exact situation that happened. All of 2025, they were stuck at about $50 AOV. Within right away, of course, we go in, FoundRev, right? We're looking for this revenue and these leaks. We went straight after AOV because we saw a huge opportunity. And within the first 14 or so days, we were able to bring average order value from 51, I think it was 51, $52 to almost $69, like 68 and some change. So that was over a 30% increase, and that has held consistently as we've been optimizing other parts. So this is all multiplicative because if we get more people to get to the site, they on average spend more, in fact, 35% more, and more of them go from initiating checkout to completing checkout. That's multiplicative. That's how you double revenue, and it looks almost effortless. Like, what did you do? We just did the fundamentals better. So, hands down, this is one of the biggest revenue leaks and one of the easiest ones to fix when you start pulling the levers, and one of the fastest ones to increase revenue in your business quickly. So here's the tactical fix for you. First, start at the product detail page. We've talked about bundles plenty. Make sure, again, I sound like a broken record, I know, but have bundling options. And you want to use price decoy that makes it seem that the middle option is the most attractive. So you have quantity breaks, but it's really the best deal to be in the middle tier, and pre-select that. It's one of the easiest levers to pull to increase average order value. Make sure that you have a cart drawer enabled, and in that cart drawer, have an upsell. Price your free shipping threshold correctly so that it's just out of reach of your average order value, that encourages people to add that one extra thing to cross the threshold. And then make sure you have some form of post-purchase upsell. And you want to test this. This works for some stores better than others, but in the cart, you want to add for about a 15% take rate on a pre-purchase upsell. The only time I would say don't do that is if you have very, very low initiate checkout or add to cart through completion. So if a lot of people add to cart, but few people are completing checkout, I would remove the order bump or the upsell in the cart, because that could be part of the friction. But if that is solid, if those numbers are solid, you can keep it to see if you could bump up AOV. But then post-purchase, after they've purchased, you can add upsells there, which more than half of the time will bump up the average order value across all orders. So those are very tactical fixes you can apply today and then monitor it. So all of these changes you want to monitor for 2 weeks. This is what we do in our Alpha OS system. We look at all of a business's data. We look over 70 KPIs and metrics in the business. And each week we decide what plays from our playbook we're going to run to identify, to deal with the constraint that we've identified. So if you identify that you're not targeting AOV enough, make a change, hold it steady for 2 weeks, and see if it did increase average order value, if it did nothing, or if it decreased it, because that could happen as well. It's very rare, but it could happen. So you want to monitor those changes so you can control the variables and change one thing at a time. So here's what's interesting about these 5 leaks. They're not separate problems. They're actually all connected. I mean, think about it. If you have a stronger hero offer, well, then your conversion rate's going to go up. If your conversion rate goes up, then your cost per acquisition is going to go down. If you have email flows set up and you're optimizing them, then the lifetime value of your customer goes up. And if your lifetime value and your conversion rate goes up and your average order value goes up, well, now every customer is worth more to you, which means you have more money to go out and spend to acquire customers. And whoever has the most money to spend to acquire a customer always wins, because they can go places the competition can't, and they can scale to levels that the competition can't. So instead of addressing these as individual problems, see it as a whole system. And I'm not saying don't drive more traffic. All I've been trying to convey in this whole time is that you have revenue that's sitting in your business right now. And if you patch up these leaks, you can claim that revenue instantly, or much more quickly than it'll be, and much more affordably than it'll be to just double ad spend. And at founderev.com, we've built a system, our Alpha OS, that helps us diagnose and fix the constraint across these revenue leaks. So what I want to do next time is I want to break down exactly how the system works, how we gather data through our scorecard, how we run our sprints, the plays that we run, and show you exactly how we find the constraint and optimize it. And we do it over and over and over again. This is why we're able to get the results we get. The outsized results in such a short amount of time is because we're just identifying the issue quickly, and we're able to iterate very quickly through feedback loops. So I want to show you exactly how it works next time so you can start applying it in your business and using it to accelerate your revenue growth and do it as quickly as possible. Here's the bottom line. If your store is stuck at 50K a month or more, or in fact, in some cases, even 25K a month or more, and you're trying to break through that plateau, I want to encourage you to not spend more money on ads right away and start by fixing these revenue leaks in your business. Because once you do that, you're going to be able to pull that money off the table. That's money sitting there in plain sight. You'll grab that and put it, you know, back in your pocket. And once you have it, you can then redeploy it into ads. And think about it. Now, when you turn the water pressure up on those ads into that hose and you've plugged the holes in the hose and removed the kinks, there's going to be more throughput. So more of that water that comes in is going to come out the other end as dollars. So your ads are going to be that much more effective and you're going to start that flywheel turning and be able to scale much, much more quickly. So that's Found Rev. It's found revenue in your business. And I'll catch you on the next one.